All right, let's talk about your favorite teams. We're going to pick on football today and relate that to some dividend investing. I think this would be fun. It's playoff season, playoff-uary.
Yeah. What?
That's what they call it, right? The Dr. Pepper.
Paulism now.
Yeah, I was going to say. You're setting the bar high.
That's what they said in the Dr. Pepper commercials. That's where I got it from.
Oh, okay.
It's playoff-uary with all their painted faces.
Yeah. I got to pay attention to commercials more often then.
So I'm actually kind of excited about this because there's been some really good games on lately. We're all passionate in one way or the other. I think we're passionate about our favorite players, we're passionate about our favorite teams, and we're passionate about how much we can't stand the refs.
How little impact they should truly make.
Yeah. Well, I think that, like your favorite teams would be your portfolio, your favorite players would be probably your best stocks, right? And then the refs would be the rules. And I think there's such a crossover of like, why does it work that way? All right. So when we first start the show, what are we supposed to talk about?
Well, if you like what you're hearing, subscribe. And if you don't like what you're hearing, subscribe. Maybe it'll get better.
Maybe. That's pretty funny. Oh, that's funny. All right. So let's talk about a couple connections right out of the gate. When you think of like people who have good teams, like Eagles, won a bunch of Super Bowls, like, you guys have good players, good coaching, you've won. There's the good teams out there. Then they have the teams that have tons of good players. Probably the 49ers should make that.
Yep.
Where there's a ton of raw talent, but they haven't won the Super Bowl.
Can't get it together.
Did they beat the Chiefs or Chiefs beat them?
No, Chiefs beat them,
unfortunately. It makes me mad.
Yep.
But I know they play.
Yep. Chiefs
that was, I think, the last Super Bowl. I was like, if they win one more time, like, come on. The Chiefs, they had both as well.
Kind of agree on
they won. They have good coaching. They have players that kind of make everybody mad now.
Yep.
It's kind of like when Tom Brady was leading the New England Patriots for a while. It's like, okay, we're done. We've seen this movie.
Yes.
Like I don't want to do this anymore.
Yep. Yeah. Unless you were the Patriots fans, and then you were like, "This is the most amazing thing ever."
So you're the person with the portfolio that's not doing the greatest. So what do you brag about? What do you talk about? The one player on your team.
That's it.
It's making all the highlights.
Oh yeah, but look at this guy.
Yes. Let's talk about the overall portfolio. My team's not really making the playoffs. Kind of like the Lions back in the day, they had Barry Sanders. Can't name another player on that team.
No. But
they had Barry Sanders, and everybody wanted to watch Barry Sanders. Are they going to make the playoffs? Nope. Are they going to win a playoff game? Nope.
But would he still make the Pro Bowl?
Yep.
You bet.
That's right. Arguably one of the greatest running backs of all time. Never won a Super Bowl, but man, was he
never
fun
even
to watch.
came close.
And he's that stock that you have in your portfolio that crushes it every single year, but you can't find a supporting cast to make anything happen.
Yep.
Which is very interesting.
And
kind of drives me crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough because you're always trying to put the team together because you want everything to gel at least for a couple of years and get a good run going. But sometimes you can't. It's crazy.
So I would say the heartbeat of the show that we're going to be talking about today would be reliable systems beat raw talent, period. Because the raw talent would be those stock highlights.
Right.
Okay. And then the reliable system strategies would be, well, in our case, a dividend portfolio. I'm sure there's others out there. We just don't care about them because they don't match up. And we had this discussion before we started, filming the show today. The crazy, awesome, amazing players that never won a Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. And my immediate I was like, who's out there in the NFL? And it was Dan Marino. That was your same one. I mean, he owned so many stats.
Yeah, for a long time,
so
he was
good,
like leading passer, best rating, all of the metrics that you would say this guy is killing it, and just
never
could not
won.
Get a team together.
I don't even think they made a Super Bowl.
Only an Ace Ventura.
Yeah, that's hilarious. All right, well, who else we had? We had Barry Sanders, which we already talked about. Bo
Jim
Jackson,
Kelly.
Jim Kelly, Bruce Smith, Cornelius Bennett, like
all those guys on this team. And you could argue they had a great team.
They did.
Because they went to 4 consecutive Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm done. I don't want to talk anymore. The Bills fan in the group here. I've known my fair share of disappointment. We had, let's see, who else we had? Dickerson, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Randy Moss was another one, and
And he
I'll
was
add
so
Josh
close.
Allen
Yeah.
to that list. All right, let's talk about some analogies that really connect. So we're going to pick on 4 teams just for fun. We'll talk about the Carolina Panthers,
The hometown favorite.
which this was such an exciting year.
Great.
You know,
Yes.
making the playoffs, had a
Snuck in.
home playoff game
That's
with a
Yeah.
losing record.
Yes.
Yes.
Losing record,
It's tradition in that.
which is awesome.
We don't want to exceed too many expectations.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
How can we make it a disappointing, exciting playoff?
That's right.
Yeah.
We'll just get in with a losing record. Just win the division.
Got to protect that draft pick. Right? still get a decent draft pick.
No,
but
do
make it to
they?
the playoffs?
Do they? No, they still get a low draft pick or a low draft pick.
Low. I
They
think.
will. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they technically were one of the however many teams
playoff
that made
teams.
it.
Right,
Okay.
because they
Yeah.
Even though their
I thought
record-
they restacked it
Right.
based on your record.
Yeah, because there was a
I think
7
they
and
start
9
with the
team
playoffs,
playing
so, okay.
11 and something team.
Right.
Well, they'll be the first playoff team to draw.
Yes.
That's right.
All right. So I think the reality behind the Carolina Panthers, and if there was one word that a lot of people would say is synonymous with Carolina Panthers, would probably be rebuilding.
Right.
You know, I feel like
Yep.
there's always
over and
yes.
over and over.
Yes.
Yes.
You know, as soon as the season's over, well, I guess we're gonna have to rebuild.
That's right. That's
We
right.
made the playoffs. Yep, we're gonna have to rebuild.
Got a beautiful
Although
stadium.
I think there'll be a little bit of buzz, even though they only won 7 games. I think the reality is there's going to be there's a little bit of excitement. We'll see, because this was the first year that I felt like their quarterback was playing
He played
legitimate.
good ball, especially towards the end.
Yes.
Yes.
You know,
Absolutely.
he finished strong.
Yeah. And they won 8 games, just to correct you.
Oh, they did?
Yeah. A whole 8 and 9. But
8 and 9, not 7
yeah.
and 9. There's that extra game I keep forgetting.
That's right.
Yeah.
But they also have some core players now, a couple on defense and a few on offense. So it's like you have that core
Starting to
stock
piece it together.
They're
you know,
doing
that
that
you can
rebuild.
start building off of
So-
instead of completely wiping out and starting over from scratch, next
In the
year.
Yes.
dividend portfolio, what are you going to
Yeah,
say
I
that?
was gonna say so they're like the portfolio. You've got some good pieces,
That's right.
so you just got to make some exchanges. You got to
So the rebuilding isn't as deep as what it's been in the past, where it's like, okay, we got to scrap it.
blow it up,
That's right.
and start over.
But now it's like, okay, we've got some dependability on both sides of the ball. Now we just need to add in other things that can make a real impact.
That's right.
Yeah. Which is kind of fun, I think.
Yeah.
From a dividend portfolio, just a portfolio in general, where you're like, okay, these ones typically they're very consistent.
Mhm.
And then you have those ones that drive you crazy because one year they're like amazing and then the next year they stink. And there's like, what do? Do you keep them in the portfolio? Are they really dependable? Are they just going to be an every other year Pro Bowl player or almost Pro Bowl?
Right.
Which was an interesting stat. We're not talking about the Bills yet, but their coach, who is the most winningest coach
Mhm.
in NFL over his tenure at the Bills, gets fired, and they promote Bean,
Mm-hmm.
who is their
GM.
who was their GM, now is their president, who's in that period of time only drafted 2 Pro Bowlers.
Wow.
That's it. In 8 years, only 2. Your current coach drafted 4 at the Eagles, but he wasn't even there the whole 8 years. And I'm like, how do you, and the arguments behind that, and I guess as a guy who picks stocks in a portfolio, like that's, what are you graded by?
Mhm.
Your 2 stars or all the other failures,
Mm.
can you still have success as a dividend portfolio? Not just me or like investors.
Well,
Like-
and in both cases, sometimes the star is such a star, it can kind of mask
Right. It also
some holes in the team or the portfolio.
And with Josh Allen, because everybody calls him Superman, he's a good guy,
good
Yeah.
guy.
Mm-hmm.
and he's a great player to watch.
and he can make up for some of those inefficiencies that they have.
Like, you can't even name a receiver on the Bills.
Well, the biggest
all the
name
good
one
ones
left.
they trade.
Yeah, they got traded
They
out.
traded them all
Yeah.
away.
But yeah, to your point, like, is Allen covering up the warts, right? Is
Yep.
you just have one high flying stock and you have 10 just terrible ones that are just dragging everything down, but you can't tell because that one stock is just
Is-
making up for everything.
That's right. It's
So-
got the great yield, the great pair.
This is fun to talk about
Yeah.
because there'd be like an Amazon or a Tesla or Facebook or something, one stock that's like, that's my super all-star, and then you don't really want to talk about the rest, even though most of those don't even pay
Well, and that's-
dividends.
I mean, not to shift gears completely because we'll need to come back, but that is kind of what's happening in the market right now. If you look at the NASDAQ or the S&P, which are weighted indexes, you're seeing these top market cap companies, which are your Amazons, Teslas, the tech companies, they're so heavily weighted that whenever their success, it's lifting up, it makes it look like the entire S&P is just crushing it.
Yeah,
but really, you've got about 10 companies that are pulling that whole thing and directing where it's going.
I know.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the Tennessee
Rocky Top.
We all know who the one fan in the room is now. And I guess the analogy we're going to talk
It's
about.
a few years, but we're starting to build back. We've got some great.
You guys are
coming.
fun to watch. Like, I love
Yeah.
watching Tennessee.
We're exciting, but man, you better hold on because you don't know. We're
What
like
you're gonna
the
get.
tech stocks right now. I feel like we can be like.
But I would say, like, for you guys, like, there's always talent.
Yeah.
Like, you had Nico, arguably the highest paid talent
At the time,
at the time. Super disappointment.
Yep.
That's like getting that stock in your portfolio that is like, oh man, it's a barn burner. Like, it's like getting Nvidia like now.
Yes.
Probably. Like, it still hasn't gone down, but it's everything stacked against it. They got so much competition now. Their run is probably, to double again would probably be almost impossible
Well, and
for
realizing just because it's a great stock doesn't mean it's a great fit for your team.
them. Yeah.
Because
Like Nico wasn't.
Nico was not a great fit for what we tried to do at Tennessee. Like, he wasn't kind of set up, even though they thought he wasn't really set up to run the offense the way it was.
He didn't fit and he didn't do anything. The team didn't go anywhere.
Correct.
And that's like, when you're designing your portfolio, it's like, okay, it's kind of interesting because sometimes I feel like investors, I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to, it's like, well, I like this one. I like this one. I like this one. This one makes sense. And they're not necessarily thinking about the team.
Mm-hmm.
They're just picking players.
Yep.
Right.
And I think some organizations often just pick really good players. And now with the NIL, they have that freedom to do that because they just dangle money at them. But there's no team there.
Right.
And it's like, how in the world are they going to play as a good team? What are they going to do? And this year was great with Indiana. I don't think they had a 5-star.
No.
Did they?
They didn't have a single 5-star. They only had like 2 or 3 4-stars, and like 53 of their players were 3-stars.
Yeah.
And they dominated.
because they were all 24 and above, which some of that, like, go build the team around what you need. Like, as we approach, season's ending and we're getting closer to the NFL draft and people are talking about that. A lot of the philosophy around teams is, do you just take the best talent off the board when it's your turn? Or do you actually take what you need and position and strategically, hey, this person may not be the best player in the draft that's left, but he's the person that we need for our team to get us to the next spot. And I feel like those type teams, they're the ones who always find like the running back in the 4th and 5th round that's just going to, go and kill
With
it.
a Purdy.
Yes. Like, didn't have a lot of fanfare around them, but then they go and they're perfect for who that team is.
I mean, you look at some of the best talent in the NFL or any sport, they weren't the number 1, number 2, Jordan was number 3.
Mm-hmm.
You think about Michael Jordan, it wasn't even in the top 2. He was number 3, but he's number 3.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan.
It's hard to believe that.
You talk about the greatest athlete ever to play any sport. Michael Jordan's going to be in that, you know? And then you look at LeBron James, who went number 1. And then, you get half
Kobe,
the
I
people
think,
out
went
there.
like 9th, right?
Was he really?
I think Kobe
Actually,
was
because he went as
because he's 18, 17,
so
18.
young.
But still, I mean, you could always argue that he was coming out young, but
And Tom Brady was 7th round? Sixth
or
sixth round. So,
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
And you think about some stocks in our portfolio, and there's probably some on there that people will be like, that didn't even make the draft.
right.
Like, why is that in the portfolio? But we build a team,
So-
and you try to cross sector. You look at things that would complement each other. Sometimes we just trade, like last year, we just traded a player in the same exact situation. 1 star from another team that was having a bad year. Our player was playing really good. It was, 2 gas companies, and we swapped out the good one for the bad one because we're like, hey, this has tons of potential. This we feel is capped out. You've made too many all-stars in a row, getting too old. We swapped it and ended up being a really good situation.
Yep.
And we just did like to like. one was struggling, one was doing well, and we actually got rid of the one that was doing
Kind of
well.
like what happened with Nico and Joey.
Yeah.
Joey was like, he's 24. He'd already finished up at App State, but had a great year. He was like, I think he's their leading passer at App State. He transfers for that bonus year, thanks to COVID, to go back home to UCLA. Nico goes out there. We kind of called his bluff on that. And then Aguilar comes back, and we ended up having, the end result wasn't great for the season, but he played exponentially better.
Let's zero in a little bit more on like the Indiana Hoosiers. Just won the national championship. It was such a fun game to watch. No 5 stars, no 4 stars, or 2 4 stars, like you said, or something like that. No highfalutin talent. And yet they
2 years ago, they were the worst team in the country.
In the country. Right. And they dominated, first ever 16-0, champion, or not first ever, but it was first since the 1907 or whatever. It was Harvard or Yale.
Yeah.
I think it was Yale was the last team. Yale. Once Yale had a 10 and 10. Yeah. So, and let's kind of talk through that. Like when you look at all the different types of investments out there between mutual funds, ETFs, whatever. And then obviously we're dividend stocks. I would almost look at dividend stocks as that Indiana Hoosier like roster where nobody looks at them as like, why would you, our clients are probably watching this going, well, everybody's got dividend stocks. Because once you start researching dividend stocks, the way the internet works, once you start looking around, that's all you see.
Everywhere.
Right. Yep.
So, you search one thing on like grills, and now everywhere you go, there's a grill.
It's every ad.
Yeah, and you're like, what just happened?
You don't even have to search. You just talk about it.
I know, because your phone's watching.
That's all we're going to get.
We should do a show on that. But, the reality is it's still the unsung hero of the market. Very few investors actually know about dividend stocks. It sounds shocking to a lot of our client base, but it's definitely the player out there on the roster that nobody's talking about that can win you a Heisman and a championship.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, completely on that, because it's in most cases, the dividend stock is not the flashy. They're not the one that's getting all the press.
Well, this was such a great year because you had the 10 seed, Hurricanes, Miami, who controversially made it in over Notre Dame because Notre Dame beat them, and Notre Dame goes all huffy, and then that team coasts almost right into the national championship and almost won the national championship. They actually could have.
They had a chance.
Yeah. If you would have thrown that ball a little farther, that game might have been ended a little different.
And the receiver was looking.
And the receiver.
Kind of helps. Well, one thing I was thinking of, you're talking about Indiana and just maturity. So, we keep talking about these 24-year-old kids in college, and the reality is most of our portfolio are mature stocks, right? And you do have a couple flash, maybe some newer fun in there, but for the most part, the bulk, the core, are companies that have been around for a while. They've been doing this for a while, so their rebuilds a little bit faster, a little bit easier. You're able to keep up. You're getting the taste of the dividend you have for a while.
Well, you know what you're getting, right?
That's
They have a body of work that you can reference, and most of those kids on Indiana, those coaches knew exactly what type of player they were getting. In the same way with us, when we go and we're picking our team, so to speak, for the year, and before we're making adjustments, we can go do all the research. We know what we're getting for the most part from these companies. We know who the CEOs are. We know what type of cash flow they're running with, how much free cash flow sitting on their books, how long they've been paying a dividend. Have they been increasing it or not? And whenever you get that, you get usually you get a pretty good team going.
So I think to kind of wind this show down, I think there's so much dependency on the GM, like the guy or gal that's out there that's like, okay, what are the stocks? What are the positions out there that we're actually going to be tracking? And then the coach, which ones are we going to actually put in the game, put on the field when it matters?
Yep.
Right. So we have a couple things, for those of you out there that are a little nervous or don't have, an advisor in your life. We have a dividend starter kit and we have a dividend checklist. So if you subscribe to the show, go down in the comments, put in a dividend checklist, dividend starter kit. There's 2 different things. And the goal behind creating those was really just to empower like a little bit of that GM, what should we be looking at? What's our scorecard for players that make sense, for stocks, dividend stocks that actually make sense? And then when should we put them in the game? When do we want to take them out of the game? Just because they're out of the game doesn't mean you don't watch them.
That's right.
Doesn't mean it's not on your board, because we watch all kinds of stuff that we don't ever put in the game.
That's right.
You know,
Some people get hurt.
yeah.
you know?
Well, I also think Steve Jobs said it best. He goes, "I'm more proud of the things I said no to than the few things I said yes to."
Well,
He
they
goes,
help
'cause
validate
the-
things you said. Yes,
Yeah. Not only that, it keeps you focused on what's really important. So, any last thoughts?
It's easy to chase those shiny things. So
It is.
staying
Yeah.
focused and disciplined. That's the true test.
Any last thoughts, guys?
No. Be sure you
Panthers
subscribe.
Super Bowl next year.
You heard it here first.
I would say Buffalo Bills against the Panthers. That would be crazy. You're going down. All right. Well, thanks for watching. It's been a good show. It's been fun.